Hi there. Today we are going to talk about India's economic performance in the midst of global downturn. The International Monetary Fund has projected that India will remain the fastest growing major economy in 2022 and 2023. This is a great accomplishment for India, as it means that it has the potential to avoid the global economic downturn. Let's take a closer look at why India is succeeding in this challenging economic environment. Services and digital growth. India's growth model relies more on domestic consumption, which means that it can withstand a global downturn. The services sector, which drives India's economic growth, tends to shrink less during global economic downturns than the manufacturing sector. However, IT services are export-oriented, so they may face some headwinds. Nevertheless, according to a 5CCI McKinsey report, India's digital transformation in education, energy, health, financial services and logistics could generate $500 billion in economic value by 2025. The digital leap that India is experiencing will not be slowed down by a global downturn. India has a significant advantage in the global market for digitally delivered services, as it has seen tripled exports of such services over the past 2 decades. The country's share of the global services trade is expected to grow, which will drive massive digital consumption. With the world's lowest data prices and over 650 million internet users, India is expected to add over 200 million online shoppers and a $5 billion online gaming and entertainment market in 4 to 5 years. This will enable local demand to be met more efficiently, and domestic consumption will multiply as a result of the digital economy. Demographic advantages. India has one of the youngest populations in an aging world. Compared to other major economies, India's median age is below 30. Demographics play a significant role in economic growth, and India's demographic profile, coupled with its ability to borrow from residents and build public-private partnerships to finance physical and human infrastructure spending, make it resilient to macroeconomic shocks. Middle-class expansion. India's favorable demographic trends have set the stage for a massive middle-class expansion, creating a huge domestic market. Based on India's household surveys, changing demographics and favorable urbanization trends, a massive shift towards a middle-class society is already underway. This middle class's entrepreneurship, savings and human capital must be supported. Green growth. India's energy efficiency has improved during high economic growth in urban areas, which is a good indicator of green growth. Energy is mostly used in energy-intensive industries like iron and steel, fertilizer and petroleum refining. Green growth has advanced due to options, competitions, rising energy prices and energy efficiency programs. To ensure universal access to clean water and reuse of treated water, we must increase per capita water availability from 1,500 cubic per meter to 1,700 cubic meter and treat 90% of wastewater, up from 30% today. In these areas, Namami Ganj is making progress. We must promote water-efficient agriculture practices and drive the development/adoption of water-efficient methods and micro-irrigation practices, and shift acreage to water-efficient crops like millets, since agriculture uses 85% of the country's water. India needs to double MSME credit penetration to 80% and reduce commercial borrowing costs compared to global peers. By enabling credit bureaus and banks to use financial and non-financial data, we can tailor products by segment and improve underwriting and monitoring. Attracting foreign investment. India's drive to boost productivity and growth across sectors will require more foreign investment. Compared to US companies, Indian companies get 68% of their funding from banks. Deeper capital markets are needed to attract global capital to India. Companies could attract international investors with a wider range of products and services, such as high-rated ESG securities. The Global Bond Index could unlock $40 billion in FPI inflows if policymakers enable entry. In conclusion, India has several advantages that position it to lead the world's economic growth in the midst of the global downturn. Its reliance on domestic consumption and the service sector, coupled with its demographic advantages and robust financial services, provide a strong foundation for economic resilience. Furthermore, India's focus on green growth and the development of its digital economy provide avenues for growth that are not tied to global trade. Finally, by attracting foreign investment through deeper capital markets and innovative financing mechanisms, India can further strengthen its position as a global economic leader.